Happy Black Friday. Welcome to the weekly market wrap-up. I'm your host, Hannah Bernard. American Thanksgiving cut trading short this week, but that didn't stop U.S. equities from rallying to another round of record highs. Tech-heavy NASDAQ closed above the 4,000-point mark for the first time in 13 years. The boost was fueled by Apple Inc., which rose 2.4%, hitting $545, the stock's highest level since January. The Dow dropped down a little bit mid-Wednesday, but closed up at a record high of 16,097, gaining 24 points. S&P 500 also broke records on Wednesday, closing at 1,807 points. Canadian stock markets lagged a bit behind U.S. market success, although Canada's benchmark index, the Toronto Stock Exchange, did have a good run on Thursday, closing at 13,370 points. However, the TSX is still below its all-time peak above 15,000 in 2008. The TSX Venture Exchange is currently sitting at 926 points, which is down nearly 3 points. While the velocity and performance of the markets has exceeded many people's expectations, there is a debate over whether the markets today are fairly priced or if we're on a bubble. Market performance doesn't have all financial pundits convinced. Peter Schiff, CEO of Euro-Pacific Capital, voiced support for stocks moving higher, but believes that equities are grossly overvalued, with current point levels achieved only via bullish speculation.
I think the Dow is overvalued where it is now, but that doesn't mean that it can't go higher. I think what's driving the Dow is the Fed. It's bad monetary policy, not a good economy or strong earnings. And that bad monetary policy, unfortunately, is going to continue. And so I think that the market is likely to continue to trade higher, although, we could have some corrections. But the economy is going to continue to deteriorate because of QE. And because the economy continues to deteriorate, the Fed will do more QE. So that's good for the markets, but it's bad for the overall economy.
China dropped a bombshell this week by announcing it may stop stockpiling foreign currency. For years, China has been systematically propping up the value of the US dollar and keeping the value of the yuan artificially low. This has resulted in a massive flood of super cheap products from across the Pacific that consumers have been eagerly gobbling up. If China ends its currency intervention program, it could mean higher debt and a rise in consumer good costs. Let's turn now to winners and losers and our picks for the week. The winner for this week is Hewlett-Packard, ticker symbol HPQ. Shares closed up over 9% on Wednesday after a surprise Q3 revenue result of $29 billion comfortably beat consensus estimates. Despite the lift in share prices, many investors remain cautious since only one business group within the HP umbrella experienced revenue growth. The loser for this week is Goodrich Petroleum Corp, ticker symbol GDP. Shares dropped 5% off the back of an extremely bearish trading activity, as well as a declining crude oil market. However, earnings trend is improving for Goodrich, so some fund managers are expressing positive sentiment for this stock. Now over to stocks in play this week, as brought to you by BayStreet.ca. Surf Incorporated announced the results for their third quarter of 2013. The company saw overall revenue increasing to 63%, up from 52% in 2012. Gold Group Mining Inc. was also making some plays. They announced that the company has completed the movement of its crushing system from the company's 100% owned Cerro Colorado mine and has now completed its installation at its 100% owned Cerro Prieto project in Mexico. Some big changes coming from Canada Energy Partners Inc. Out on Thursday, they announced that the appointment of Danny Lee as CFO. Lee is an experienced accountant with 18 years experience working with both Canadian and U.S. listed companies. Turning over to precious metals, the market was subdued this week with gold closing at $1,245 and silver at $19.68. On a positive note, both metals are technically oversold, which may mean bearish activity has worn itself out. Palladium bucked the bearish trend in the metals, making a small gain for the week and settling in at $717. Palladium has consistently held a long-term support line that began in July 2012, which suggests a breakout move is possible over the next few months. Now let's turn to BayStreet.ca's look at the week ahead and a snapshot of what analysts are forecasting for notable companies whose earning reports are coming out next week. Here are 3 U.S. companies to watch this week. Analysts are forecasting Krispy Kreme will deliver 16 cents per share on Monday. On Wednesday, Aeropostale's earnings will be released, and analysts are forecasting a loss of 25 cents per share. And on Thursday, Conn's Inc. released their third quarter earnings. Conn's was our loser of the week back in September after second quarter earnings missed analysts' expectations. Analysts are forecasting an EPS of 63 cents. Let's see if Conn's can stay out of the loss column. And that wraps it up. Thanks again so much for joining us for another weekly market wrap-up. Before you head out for the weekend, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and find us on Facebook and on Twitter. For Viral Network News and Crush the Street, I'm Hannah Bernard.